Happy Sunday, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the topic of faith. So, with faith, religion, you could say spirituality, universe, all these things are something that's, like I said before, is very near and dear to my heart, something I'm extremely, extremely passionate about, and I cannot wait to share my thoughts and opinions about it with you guys. In today's society, in society in general, faith and religion have been on the decline for the past few years. And there are a lot of reasons for this, and I don't blame anyone who is, I would say, shy or averse, or probably even hates that, even the idea of bringing up faith and spirituality and religion. There has been so much abuse that has occurred at the hands of the church, at the hands of mosques, at the hands of mullahs, at the hands of so many of these religious figures and movements that have really, really destroyed and hurt people throughout our human history. And I think one of the primary reasons that this is because faith and religion and everything are administered by the hands of men. People are imperfect, and people want power, they want control, they want to, have people conform to whatever it is that they believe that is to be true. Now, this happens in every single faith, every single religion, every single circle. However, I must say that for me, from my perspective and from my experience, I think it's something that's is super important to be open to exploring, to be curious about it, to really try and find whatever version of the truth, right? Which I don't believe that one exists, to be honest with you. I think there are multiple versions of it. I think there are multiple paths that lead to God or lead to the universe, that lead to self-fulfillment. So many paths to it, and it depends on the person, maybe their culture, their upbringing, and everything like that. Now, for instance, myself, with my upbringing, I was raised generally Muslim. I would say a little bit more on a religious side. Before that, my past generation, my father was originally a Southern Baptist Christian. And so my grandparents are as well. And that's something that I've also been somewhat familiar with growing up, but not necessarily, like I said, raised generally kind of strict Muslim, the whole Salafist, Wahhabist recent wave. In college, my father decided to convert, and the rest is history, right? And through that religion and through that faith, there have been a lot of benefits, a lot of things that I really have grown to appreciate and really, really value in life, right? However, there are certain things that, of course, I don't agree with. There are certain holes in questioning. And with that being said, when you ask certain questions or you try and delve deeper into certain things or have certain discussions and debates, certain people are not happy. Because, as I mentioned before, men control a lot of these faiths. They are very, I would say, controlling and patriarchal in nature. And so with that, you have to have people conform. You can't have people asking too many questions. You can't have anyone wanting to do something different or question things. It just has to be in one way or the other, right? And so I would say recently, for the past few months, I have also been on my faith journey. I would say even more OD. I've been, we could say, religion maxing even more. I've been to church so many times, and I've been going to multiple different churches, attending different services, Bible studies, asking questions as well. And I would say the same thing with Islam as well. I attend Jumu'ah service on a weekly basis. I go to the mosque, I pray, and I try to ask imams, certain questions that I have, because I do have a lot of questions about faith, and I would like to learn more. And I urge and implore anyone watching this to do the same thing. Right? You might have been raised with a certain background, or you might have not. Perhaps you've had questions. Perhaps you've been curious. Perhaps you've actually been hurt and treated badly by whatever religious background you might have. The abuses that occur in church, in different mosques, and different religious circles are insane, okay, and are vast and are valid. If that's been your experience, I completely apologize to you from the bottom of my heart, and I can empathize and understand, just how ridiculous that is, especially when you're not heard, when your stories and everything, when you share and you recount whatever it is that you experience, when people just don't care, right? Or they try and reframe it, or they try and shut you up, or they try and say, oh, well, it's because of this, blah, 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 about this. It's a common thing that is rife, and it's something that I personally just cannot stand at all. But with that being said, there's so much out there, okay? There's so much out there, and I implore everyone to, have a curious heart, a curious mindset, okay? Ask questions. Ask critical questions. Like I said, people might not they might not enjoy the fact that you're asking questions. They might not enjoy the fact that you're even there, right? They were like, well, why are you here? I mean, you should just be like conforming to whatever it is. You should be a robot. You should not ask questions. You should not have a thirst or hunger for faith, for the Lord, for spirituality. Well, I completely reject that idea. And also the notion, when it comes to a lot of fundamentalist kind of groups like fundamentalist Islam and Christianity, of course they don't want you asking questions, but also they don't want you kind of crossing over, right? Like I said before, I have a mainly Muslim background. There's some Christianity in there as well. And, exploring churches and stuff like that, some people might not like that. Some people might say, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to remain your faith, or you're supposed to stay in this box, in this circle, and not do anything different, and not be curious, and not ask questions, and not go here or go there. Even some of my own family members have the same exact thoughts. And to me, it kind of baffles me, because my own father, does not agree with me even questioning and exploring faith and having a faith journey. Obviously don't really care, but it just baffles me because this man is a convert himself, right? And that's also going to bring me to the second half of this conversation, talking about converts and my ideas about it. Because on one hand, while I do feel that it is important to be curious and ask questions and try different things and see what fits for you, what fits for your lifestyle, what fits for your goals in life, because there's a wealth of things, you could be Catholic, you could be non-denominational, you could be a Salafist, you could be a Shia, you could be a Hindu, you could be a Buddhist. There's so many options, and there's so many things, right? And there's so much to learn out there. And I would say for me personally, as someone who is open to faith and is exploring faith and stuff like that, I don't have any plans on converting or changing faiths. I really do not. And if I were to ever do that, it will be a process that takes years, decades even. Because I want knowledge. I want to know what it is I'm getting myself into. I don't want to jump into another cult. I don't want to, play act and pretend and cosplay, a whole new faith or a whole new religion or a whole new culture. I don't want to do that. I'm satisfied with everything that I've experienced. I'm satisfied with the practices that I have. But I'm also eager and hungry to learn more about faith and God. So that is kind of where it leaves me, right? And it is a stance that's, like, again, a lot of people might not agree with. They might not even understand it or even be open to understanding it, and then don't care about it. And that's completely fine, because at the end of the day, it is my journey. It is my journey. It is my path towards God, towards religion, towards spirituality, or a semblance of that. It's between me and the Lord. I do not care what anyone has to say. I don't care of the critiques. I don't care of people not liking my questions. I don't care about people, not liking the fact that, this guy's exploring a different faith. What's going on? You should be doing this. I do not give a flying fuck. Okay? And I think that you should too. Okay? To anyone watching this, don't be afraid to be open and be curious and explore and ask questions and, try this out and try that out. This is what your youth is for, honestly speaking. And you don't have to be you don't have to be a youth, but I feel like most of the people watching this, my friends, my close circle, will understand what I'm saying. Okay, our youth is precious, and it's a time to explore and try different things. Most people our age go out, fuck around and party, go out to a rave, try different pills, try different drugs, passed out, all these things, right? But all I'm saying is I want to explore spirituality and faith. What a crime! How crazy! Wow! And especially nowadays, with it being on the decline, I think it's more important than ever. Okay, it brings about a semblance of a sense of peace. We all deserve to have peace in our lives, and we all deserve to feel like we're doing the right thing, right? And I'm not doing this to do the right thing or to find the truth, because I don't think there's one truth that exists. It's relative. It's relative. One person's truth is another person's hell, and vice versa. It is just what it is. For some people, they want to be far right, fundamentalist, conservative. They want to be covered all the way down, or they want to follow X, Y, and Z rules. They want to pray X amount of time a day, and they want to go attend service at this time and do this ritual. Good for you. More power to you. I believe there's beauty and there's truth and there's peace in all of these manifestations of faith. So this brings me to the second part of my conversation, in which we'll be talking about converts. Okay, as I mentioned before, my own father is a convert as well. There is no harm. There's no shame. There is nothing in that. So I think it's beautiful that someone sat down and took the time to learn about something, and it really spoke to them, it really appealed to them, and they chose to follow through with it. I think that is beautiful. I think that's special and phenomenal. However, what I don't agree with are converts who convert and, plenty of things. Cosplay as a completely new faith, a new culture. Or ones that okay, now I have a new identity. I've been renewed. I've been restored in Christ. and won't shut the fuck up about it, right? Go and evangelize to people. Nothing wrong with evangelizing. Nothing wrong with spreading your faith. All monotheistic faiths, except for Judaism, actively try and recruit and evangelize to people in their own ways. You know, Islamic Dawah bros do the same exact thing, right? Go out to the street and yell at people, oh, you're not covered properly, or you're gonna go to hell, blah blah blah. And that's their version of spreading the faith. And they do get some people, usually people who are tortured, people who are going through things, people who are unsatisfied with their lives. You know, life is a journey, and we all have our moments, right? I've had mine, plenty of them. And so that's kind of what it is. Like, all of a sudden now you go from, you know, one thing to the other. The best way that I could probably describe it as, right? I'm a mixed person myself, but imagine you know, someone like me or another person of color being friends with like Bob Jones, right? Bob Jones is a regular white dude, you know, whatever. All of a sudden, Bob pulls up, he shows up, he has dreads, he has a chain on, and he's like, what's up, my nigga? And all of a sudden, he has his whole black sense and is everything doing all this stuff. That is the exact same way that I feel about all these converts. All of a sudden now they're renewed, they're restored, they're someone else, you know, they went to prison or something, and all of a sudden they accepted Islam, and now they're Mr. Muhammad, they have a beard, and they carry around the Quran and the Thob, and they tell everyone they're going to hell, and then try and put their religion in people's faces, and bash people because they're not following what they have to say, or their thoughts, or their whole new renewed identity in Christ or Prophet Muhammad, you know, and it's delusional. It is pathetic, and it really, really upsets me. It really, really upsets me. But I do empathize and understand where they're coming from. You know, you were leading a horrible life. You probably are a horrible person. Because a lot of them are. You know, on the other hand, you have a lot of individuals like you know, we see on popular culture, on popular media, right? You have Sneeko, you have Andrew Tate. Who else can I even claim? Oh, Russell Brand, right? They have immense, you know, Dan Bilzerian, these individuals, you know, this much stack of, you know, sexual assault allegations, rape allegations. Some of them are pedophiles. You know, they might have committed murder, whatever it is. They didn't have an assault, you know, stacked to the gills with all these stuff. But then all of a sudden now, I'm Muslim. Look at me now. I'm a Salafist Muslim now, and I'm in Mecca all of a sudden. I pull up. Now I'm a Catholic. And look at me, I have a big ass cross right now. And look at me, and I evangelized, and I got baptized. I am saved. This doesn't negate things, okay? Because at the end of the day, like I said, people are people. People are people. And, you know, when it comes to faith, it's like that. It's not automatic, like, wand that you wave it and everything is absolved of you. I know that's what all these faiths teach. When you repent, or when you get baptized, or you go to the mosque or whatever, now all of a sudden all these sins are forgiven. Or you go to Mecca and you make the Umrah pilgrimage, or you make the Hajj. You know, you circle around the Kaaba a few times, right? And you say a few prayers. Now you're saved and you're absolved. I don't believe that. I think that is a perversion of faith. And again, it is how men, mostly men usually, because most women don't do this, utilize faith and stuff for their own heinous, selfish, I would say, plans or whatever, right? Now I'm absolved, and now I have a platform, and now I can target the religious community, oftentimes comprised of people who are too scared to live. And I hate to say it, it's just the truth. A lot of the, you know, people, very religious people who populate these communities and are active participants are too scared to live because they believe that God wants them to be small. God wants you to follow these 10 rules. He wants you to wear this clothing. He wants you to act a certain way. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no personal agency. There's no questioning. There is no, okay, well, I want to live. I want to do this. I want to be part of society. Nothing of the sort. You have to sit there and adhere to things. So a lot of them are just fearful. They're just sad. They're just scared. They're scared little kids who are scared to breathe. They're scared to experience things. They're scared to try new things. They're scared to move. You know, and I was that person one time. You know, I was that person once upon a time, especially growing up in a kind of fundamentalist kind of bubble, right? So there was all these rules. You can't do this. You can't do that. And me, as with my personality, with my verve, with my curious mind and heart, I wanted to experience things. I was a teen boy, and I was not allowed to do anything. I was not allowed to even breathe, pretty much. So that's kind of the reality of a lot of those things. And it brings us tied back to the whole topic about converts. Yes, a lot of them, you know, they come from very broken backgrounds, experiences and things that I personally almost can't even relate to, but I can empathize and understand and see where they're coming from. Perhaps they've made some horrible mistakes in life. It's okay to make mistakes in life. A lot of us do make mistakes in life. We're human beings at the end of the day, and it's important to forgive yourself and have self forgiveness, but also accountability and moving on. Like, you can't just convert to a new faith or whatever faith, and all of a sudden now you are an absolved, amazing, pure angel. That's not how it works. Your sexual assault crimes are still there. Those women that you assaulted and you raped and treated badly are still there. Those individuals that you scammed are still there. The human trafficking they participate in is still there. And it doesn't have to be to that extreme or that extent. Perhaps you're just a shitty fucking person. You're just a mean individual. You're just a mean individual, a despicable person, a loser, right? And now, because you have this new faith or whatever, you hide behind that, right? That's your crutch. And I get it. We have to have emotional crutches. We want to feel good about ourselves. We all deserve that. However, you have to go about it the right way, and you have to have self-reflection, and you have to be intentional, and you have to be genuine and honest and upfront. And it can't just be just because of that. And so when I see a lot of people, even young people who are all of a sudden these converts and stuff, I really question a lot of it. And not all of them are like that, but a good portion are. Why haven't you spent a good amount of time? Like I said, for me, I will spend years studying a new faith before I convert and get baptized. I want to know the ins and outs of things. I want to ask the questions. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision. It's like getting married. I'm getting married to someone that I've known for just 2 weeks. I won't just go to one church and then all of a sudden, I'm there for a couple of services and I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to attend my local mosque and all of a sudden I'm taking my shahada and pledging my allegiance. That's not how it should be. That's not how it should be. I think that's retarded and stupid, unfortunately. And a lot of these individuals I meet, I just shake my head in disappointment because it's the same old story. They're a miserable loser of a person who have made some heinous mistakes, whatever, and now they won't shut the fuck up about their new faith. They won't hesitate to rub it in your face, and it's crazy. Like night and day, it doesn't make any sense. Like there is no such thing. Good things take time, and things that are worthwhile take time and effort and study and having a pensive, inquisitive mind and heart. So, anyways, if you got to the end of this video, thank you so much. I'm going to definitely be posting more videos. As I mentioned before, this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart that I'm so passionate about. I've literally been doing this for probably over a year now, going to these different religious services and really trying to ask questions and trying to understand. And it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. And I cannot wait to talk more about my experiences, perhaps share with you guys what I'm experiencing. And if you have any questions or like any suggestions or anything to add, please do not hesitate to put it in the comments down below. And as always, have a blessed day, everyone. Have a blessed Sunday. I'm about to head to service as I post this, and I really hope that you guys can watch this to the very end and glean a little bit of understanding and understand even my path and why I do the things I do, because apparently a lot of people don't. Even my own family members, some of them actually, most of them are very supportive, thank God. But the ones that aren't, like my father, think that, I don't know, I'm like some heretic, crazy person or something, when in reality I'm just someone who's just asking questions and trying to understand. Same thing that he did when he was my age. But I guess it's different for me. Anyways, have a blessed day, everyone. And as always, stay blessed.